Hey, aloha. How you doing? It's Gordo the Tech Czar here with my buddy Drew, the security guy.
Hi, man.
How
Aloha.
you doing? Welcome to
How about
Hibachi
you
Talk. Grab yourself a libation, grab yourself a towel, grab yourself a chair. Pull up and sit down and join us for 45 minutes in fun and frolic. And what do you think of our new high-tech background?
We're not at the beach anymore.
This is awesome.
Hey, Toto, we're not in
That
Kansas.
is so, man, Zuri, nice job. This is terrific. This is great. You're looking pretty handsome.
It's the backdrop. It ain't me.
Yeah, that's what
Thank
it
you,
is.
sir.
Anyway, we have our guest today is Rodney Thayer.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a network security consultant. You talk about, and no offense, Rodney, you're the geek of all geeks, man. I tell you, he knows this cybersecurity hacking stuff really, really well. So he's gonna talk about what he does.
Hang around and learn some stuff
And
today.
it's gonna be a shocker. I tell you, it's gonna be a shocker. So it's gonna be on real world white hat hacking.
Okay,
Real world,
he'll talk about
as
that.
opposed to black hat hacking. It's
Yes.
just the bad guys.
That's right.
So we got that happening, and then we've got some news, and we got a special announcement about you, young man.
We do?
Yes.
What did I
yes.
do?
Once again.
Was it legal?
Yeah. Once again, it was legal. So you've once again taken on another responsibility. I see. You're the PSA Security Network named you the chairman of the board. Is that like Frank
No,
Sinatra?
not the board.
Oh, not
the
board?
committee.
The committee. Ah.
Cybersecurity committee.
Of the cybersecurity.
Not the chairman of the board.
Oh, I thought you were like Frank Sinatra. Like
No.
chairman of the board.
No,
I'm
I'm going to help out. We've got a group there to help the physical security system integrators, get more involved with cybersecurity, both on the product side, on the practice side, education for our teams, the whole 9 yards, right? As an industry, we've just got to keep coming up, and I'm happy to help the PSA group, so I'm looking forward to it.
So this is, and we've been talking about this for a number of years. It's like, so you got the physical security layer, and we're talking about access controls, cameras, intercoms, all those kinds of
intrusion
things.
detection
And they've had a
devices.
tendency to run independent on their own,
Yeah, for
selling
sure.
the stuff out of the back of a minivan.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I may have a minivan or
No,
two.
it's not. You're not. Present company excluded. And then you've got the actual, I'll call it the soft security side. The data, the voice,
The software,
the software, and all those kinds of
servers,
things. And we're
databases.
seeing them go like this. They're starting to come together. There's starting
Yeah.
to be more overlaps.
Yeah, they're putting us on the enterprise network because they want to share our type of information across the enterprise. Well, we weren't, as an industry, I think, really prepared for that in a lot of cases. So we've got vulnerabilities in our hardware, vulnerabilities in our practices, vulnerabilities in our software, vulnerabilities in our cyber hygiene, across the board. So,
cyber hygiene.
As
which
an
is
industry,
one
we've got to keep coming up.
of your wife's term, cyber hygiene. Well, here's a
Is
good
she
example.
still getting credit for
Yeah,
that?
she does. So a good example is when you walk into certain facilities, and I look at their cameras, whether it be in their parking garages or wherever, and you're looking, there's a cable that's running right into the camera, and you're looking at it going, wait, that's an RJ45, which you use for
Connecting
connecting to networks, and it's just there.
It's
I
unprotected.
can just
You just
unplug it, plug my computer, put an extension on it, plug my computer into it, and jump on their network.
You think they'd come running? You think they'd know?
Nope. Do you think? Well, you're in the business.
I'd tell you it's hit or miss. I think a few would, and I think there's many that wouldn't. And so that level of just that basic type security stuff is just not been well implemented in a lot of cases. So we're at the PSA network. We've got a great group of integrators there. It's a nationwide group. There's maybe 120, 130 owners there.
Wow.
And we're committed to leading this wave of cyber assurance for the products and services that we provide. And
I think it's nice for me to see it moving up the visibility ladder. And I think now the key is going to be us communicating at the board of directors levels and getting those people aware of that this kind of thing needs to also be looked at as part of their overall program for security, both from the physical and the cyber side. And Rodney can give us a good insight.
Yeah, we'll
on
be
that.
able to talk about that more. We talked about IoT. We continue to discuss all of these Internet of Theft, as I call it.
Internet of Theft.
Yeah,
oh,
that's what I call it.
Internet of Things.
All of these things that everyone's
tings.
dropping onto the network are more or less secure depending on what you do. And there's secure ways to do things and there's unsecure ways. And so, and that goes to our business, the POS business, right? The point of sale business. There's a lot of devices, weight scales in meat packing plants, for example, that are IP connected to the services
Internet
they provide.
protocol, got an IP address.
Scales, there's these things there's internet everywhere.
Yep.
And IP connected devices everywhere. So we're all just got to do a better job, or we're going to be at the at risk.
Yeah, well, the smart grid and all those kinds of things that you see out there, I mean, all that stuff's getting IP addresses put on it.
That's right.
I was talking to someone yesterday about light bulbs that they're thinking about putting in the street lights.
Oh, yeah, the
and
LED
I
ones, yeah.
said, and they're all got IP addresses. And I said, oh, well, are they going to how are you going to lock them down?
Yeah.
Oh,
What kind of
what do you mean
security
lock
do
them
these
down?
devices
So,
have?
I mean,
Yeah.
well, wait, you've got an IP address sitting on this light bulb. That's intelligent for a reason.
Yeah.
But then
So there's
you
a little
better
bit of
lock
processing power
you
in
better lock
there,
that
so
puppy
yeah.
down. So interesting stuff.
Yeah, if you can get into it, you can put some code on it. We'll talk about that later. We were doing a little white hat hacking today with some devices.
Oh, yeah?
So it's fun.
Lucky guy. I was in meetings as usual. So anyway, I have some news.
Good, we need it.
Since we had a lot of stuff going on with what happened in Paris last weekend
Sure.
or last Friday and so on, I thought, and since we have Rodney coming in, I kind of focus in on those kinds of common themes. So anyways, interesting that they were talking about the Paris terrorist attacks. Has reignited this debate over end-to-end encryption, backdoors on how they communicate. And so one of the things is that, they used to use, and they may still use, is things like Twitter. But the thing about Twitter is it's open, right? Anybody who wants to, can jump on and look and see what's happening on
Sure.
the Twitter feeds and so on. So these two Russian guys have come out with this product called, and I've downloaded it and used it, it's called Telegram Messenger.
Okay.
And it's encrypted end to end.
Okay.
And you can form groups.
So you have to get your own certificate, and
If you
it's a
form-
PKI, or
yeah,
how's it
you know,
work?
I didn't get into the details on how they put this thing together. Rodney might know how it works. I certainly
Okay.
don't. But all I know is that you can put groups together, and all the communication that goes on amongst your group is all encrypted.
Wow.
And so, and they had these two guys are out of Russia, and they developed this thing on a freedom of speech kind of thing. I'm pleased to say that after the Paris attacks and so on, there's a good indication that they were using. The terrorists were using Telegram Messenger as the way for them to communicate
Okay.
during these and before these attacks occurred. So, but the guys out of Russia that developed this have taken down the ability of like the ISIS, and I think another name for ISIS is Daesh, which is really isn't very complimentary. So I might start using that. So they've taken that down so that it's not there readily available to them now. So interesting one. So then, and we also have another one that I found was interesting. The Iran Revolutionary Guard hackers target State Department policy writers. So
The U.S. State Department?
U.S. State Department. So they're getting pounded now by the Revolutionary Guard hackers going in there trying to get indications of what policy the U.S. is writing before they announce the policy.
Wow.
Those kinds of things. So you always think about, we talk about health records and credit cards and things like this, but now they're trying to get in and look at what policy the U.S. is putting in place or thinking of putting in place before the policy is even brought out. So they've got to edge up on how to respond to it.
Yeah, it's kind
when
of
we
like
bring it to-
fighting the media game before the media
Before
gets
the
announced.
media gets it out.
'Cause these are memorandums out of the White House or State Department memorandum, travel stuff. Maybe actually they're getting intel about, 'cause if the State Department advises you where to travel, when to travel, maybe they're using that learning that we're learning about what they're doing and where not to go or something.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what kind of intel they're deriving
So
from that.
again, it continues to blow me away of all the different foresight that organizations have and trying to have an edge up on another.
Yeah.
And this is another way of looking at it.
Never ends.
So then there was another, there's a big discussion going on, if there was ever to be back in my day, it was like the nuclear attack, right? When something was
Okay.
going to happen, a big nuclear war and so on. And so somehow someone got a hold of some materials. Again, it's probably us hacking out that one of the things in the Russian plan, if they were ever to get into a war with the U.S., that one of the things that's in their program is to cut the intercontinental fiber optic undersea cables.
Sure.
To break off our ability to communicate with the rest of the world.
I see.
Interesting. Another one you never think about. Okay, what are these different ways now that we are or could wage war? And I've been arguing with people now for a while. I think we are in World War III. No matter what way you look at it right now, there are battles and fights and wars, all different than what we grew up with. Well, certainly what you and I grew up with.
Yeah.
Than in the past.
Cyber warfare.
There's no one across the hill shooting back and forth at each other. I mean, we're all over the place.
Well, if we see the Norse map, it looks that way.
Yeah, yes, true. But it's just constantly going on. There was another thing happened today in Mali in Africa. There was a hotel was stormed by Al Qaeda. took 100 and some odd hostages. They ended up killing almost 30.
Wow.
Before it is a former French colony, before the military and the soldiers came in and were able to take that back. So again, if we're not in a world war, I don't know what we are. I said, albeit different. So then the other one is so with all this going on, there's a big push going now to find students to get into this industry, to get into this
big
business.
time.
Big time. So the University of Maryland Center for Advanced Study of Language, CASL, is partnering with the U.S. Air Force to conduct a 2-year study designed to advance cybersecurity workforce.
Okay.
So they are going in there big time. It's where it's going to happen. So,
And there was a Dev League announcement here. So Hawaii's got about $2 million grant. There's a large fund for the U.S., but Hawaii got a couple mil. I know there's a group, Dev League. I'm not sure if they're working with, is it PCAT?
PCAT.
They may be
No,
working
PCAT.
over there,
Yep.
but I know that 300 scholarships focused on IT.
Right.
So, and we, I know the group at UH, and we've been involved with some of these talks. Gary Yoshimi was on here talking about this,
Right.
this path. How are we going to get these kids excited early? And there were some at FC this week, the young FCians. A few of them I spoke with are definitely headed in that direction with their, and these are high schoolers,
Right.
getting prepared for college, trying to pick a career path.
Right.
And they're going to be going into the IT field. Not sure which area yet, but nonetheless, we've got to continue to drum up interest, and we've got to do it early, so that they're looking and thinking of that instead of acting or, law or whatever it may be. There's a lot of competing interests out there.
And acting and law certainly are two things that people pursue. I have one grandson going down that path,
And one doing football.
and one doing football, and another one going to run for office, I think, one day.
There you go.
So, but anyway, so that all that kind of thing is happening. So again, another huge opportunity, career opportunity in this exploding, continue to explode, no pun intended, tech field.
Sure.
So with that, it's coming up on time to take a little break. We'll go find.
Angus.
Oh, wait, I forgot one thing.
What?
I got one tech job. How can I forget that?
How can you forget that?
I know.
I'm sorry, man. I had a long week.
It's just one of those tings.
Let's have it.
So anyway, got one tech job. We're talking about.
What is
we're
this?
talking about war as we used to know it.
Oh.
How'd you like this job, dude? How'd you like this?
What, the target holder?
The target holder.
You got to be kidding.
And
You think it's live fire?
I would think so.
Well, he's got that cord hanging on him. I don't know if it's live
You don't
fire.
think
That's
it's
crazy.
That is crazy. But how would you like that?
I mean, so when we did this and I was in the Navy, you always clear the range. There's no one down range from the weapons.
Me too. I don't remember anyone. Remember the
Wow.
multiple all clears.
How do you must have made somebody really mad to get that job.
You draw straw out of the hat.
Oh,
and
there.
today you get to hold the weapon.
Oh.
Good news and bad news.
Woo.
Anyway,
That's crazy.
That's our got one tech job today. Anyway, we'll go take a little break. We'll go find Angus, see what he's up to. Then we'll have Rodney Thayer come on to talk about white hat hacking. So we'll be back in just a minute.
Here's the deal. I'm Jay Fidel. I'm the host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is the Energy Policy Forum's program on Wednesday. That's how we call Wednesday Energy Wednesday. We call it Energy Wednesday every Wednesday. Are you surprised? Okay, and we try to get guys like Jim Alberts here from Hawaiian Electric who can tell us what's really going on in energy. We want to be informed. It's so important. It's the most important initiative in our state. Clean energy is major, okay? And that's why we cover it on this show. That's the deal. What do you think, Sharon?
I think that's great. That's why we're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5, and we hope you all join us so we can hear people like Jim coming on our show and co-host Ray Starley from Hawaii Energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here today. You've seen this. You heard what she said. What do you think?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity for people to come together and talk about the issues. Oftentimes, there isn't a good forum to bring these key issues out into the public, and this is a tremendous way to go about it. And the activity of this show is essential to keep talking about energy because, as you said, it's such an essential part of our lives that we need to pay attention to it and we need to think about the future.
Okay, Ray, your turn.
Well, this is a special time in the history of Hawaii where we're making some pretty radical changes in the way we use energy and generate energy. And this show is the one place you can count on coming to every Wednesday and hearing something about the latest issues that are on the table being discussed that will affect us all going forward. So come join us, and if you have some ideas you want to share with us about energy, give us a call and let us know. We'll put you up here and let you talk for an hour. So come see us.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Jim. It's great to be, from ThinkTech's point of view, it's great to have this show. We love the show. It's our most important show. So come around and listen to us 4 to 5 on Wednesday. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hey, aloha. Welcome back to Hibachi Talk. We're going to have Rodney Thayer on in just a minute, but first, Angus has always got something to share with us. Angus, what's up, buddy? How you doing
How
today?
you doing there, Drew?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you there, lad.
Right on.
I
What's
got me
up?
techie ponytail on today.
Nice. You look
Yeah,
good. You
awesome.
look good.
You got it looking really well. You know,
That's that laser brush you bought. It's really helping your hair
Hey,
grow.
you got it, lad. It was a laser brush. It finally came in handy at $299.99. You just remember what it was. Anyway, Drew, I got a wee joke for you. You know, I got a wee
Let's have it,
joke.
let's have it. What you been up to?
How do you get a Scotsman to climb on the roof?
I don't know.
Tell him the drinks are on the hoose.
Yeah, the drinks are on the house. I like it.
So hey, I always have a gadget. You know, I always got myself a wee gadget. So today I got something that's really cool. You know emojis, right? You heard of emojis?
Yeah.
Emojis. There are all kinds of
Those little
emojis.
text thing.
Those little text things. So there's already a taco emoji and all kinds of cool things. Well, so it doesn't seem to be far-fetched that we should really have something that's a little bit different. Well, guess what? There's a new emoji coming out. It's a condom. After all this, despite all the obvious differences, they're both something in common.
That's
pleasure.
it?
Yeah, so there's a new emoji coming out. Durex is going to put it out, a brand of male contraceptives. It's a hard-working advocate of condom emojis. And, you know, the official safe sex emoji will enable young people to overcome embarrassing around the discussion of safe sex. The company says, adding that it can encourage conversations and raise awareness of the importance of using condoms in protecting against sexually transmitted infectious STIs, including HIV and AIDS. So there it is, the possible new emoji of the future.
Right on. So
Yeah, there's no limit. There is no limit.
What do you reckon if somebody sends it to you?
Oh, well, we'll discuss that in a future episode. Anyway, thanks for listening to my gadget for this week. And remember, everybody, let your wind gang free wherever you be. Aloha!
All right, good job, Angus. So I think a health note there for you, if I had to guess. Maybe a tech note, I'm not sure, but it's an interesting gadget from Angus this week. So condom emojis, look for them soon. If somebody sends you one, let us know. Tweet us about it. And Rodney Thayer's in the house. Rodney, how you doing?
All right.
Nice to have you, man.
We
Welcome
got-
aboard.
so
Aloha, brother.
Rodney's looking kind of tiny, so we're going to do a
Spin him
live.
up.
Go ahead, stand up for just a sec. This is we're spinning you around. You're making it a little taller, dude.
There you go. Nice.
Don't you have the chairs on the internet?
The IP of everything.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I have Rodney Thayer, long-time friend of yours.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
known each other a while.
Yep.
Done a few things together, played with a few toys.
Yeah. So we have a standard question we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
Comes on. So, where did you go to school?
I
You started high school.
start with high school?
Yes. You don't have to,
And-
no, you have to go preschool, Robert.
Start with high school, yeah. I went to high school in Harvard, Massachusetts, and then I switched to a private school in Groton called Lawrence Academy.
Where's Groton?
Groton, Massachusetts is in the middle of the state, kind of halfway across. Of course, Massachusetts is only 200 miles long, so
Okay.
it's a small place.
Navy base, submarine base in Groton. Oh,
That's
I'm thinking of
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
right
Groton, Massachusetts is inland.
on. I see.
How do
No-
you get a
no
sub-
submarines
how do you
there.
get a submarine inland?
Okay.
Yeah, there are
gotcha.
states that don't have water all the way around.
Nah, we don't want to be in
That's
any of
why
those.
Absolutely.
That's why he's in cybersecurity and we're not.
So after that, where'd you go? College? What'd you do?
I went to Cornell University.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I stopped going to Cornell University. I skipped that whole diploma thing
I see.
and went straight into industry.
Okay.
And this was long ago, before there was an internet.
Before there was an internet?
before there was the
What did
internet.
you do with your time?
It's interesting how if you think about the Steve Jobs and the Bill Gates and the Rodney Thayers of this world, see how you group all together with those guys, all started in university at some point or another and decided, let's move on, there's other opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, it's too slow.
Yeah, it's too slow.
Yep.
We're not discouraging you from going to school.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Get
Not
educated.
at
This
all.
was a silly trick that worked in the old days. You should definitely go to school these days.
Yeah, and there's a lot more to learn today than there was then because there was no internet.
Yeah, right. And plus, everything you get taught, 33% of it is gone by the time you get out.
Absolutely, yes.
So
No college, or straight into industry at what age?
Cornell, and then this is fascinating, Cornell then
Then I-
goes to what?
Then I went to work for a company building digital cameras.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
in the mid-'70s. So digital cameras were things you put on rockets and sent to other planets, things like that.
Okay.
And then I went from there.
Like the lunar explorers.
Like the lunar explorers, the Viking
interplanetary
lander,
explorers.
that kind of stuff.
So
Yeah.
cameras that are still sending images back
That
today
kind of
that were
yes.
launched in
Exactly, yeah.
1979.
But how do you do that? I mean, how do you go, and I'm saying like, oh, I'm going to apply for a job and work on digital cameras, which is like, like state of the art. How do you get picked to go work on stuff like
Because
that?
I was one of those crazy geeks who was playing around with computers in high school.
Okay.
I mean, there were very few computers at that point, so
Right.
like our high school had one computer. But
Right.
so I was into that kind of stuff, and then I wanted to go get into working environment, and I found a job programming.
And
What Fortran?
Fortran,
Yeah.
Fortran 4.
You know Fortran.
been there, done that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It stands for
Formula translation.
Yeah, formula translation.
There you go.
So now you're
cards and everything.
Ooh,
So,
science.
so were these? So this was the programming language for the operating system, for the camera system, for the.
These
Just give
were
us a
these were
little bit of
dedicated
that.
computers that did basically process control things. So
I see.
So cameras that actually ran like there was one they put in Maui on a mirror where it would move the mirror around and make sure they could actually see stars and stuff like that.
Awesome.
So,
Wow. So what was
almost
the-
like
yeah, we didn't call it the Internet of Things then, but it's the same kind of thing. A little computer, did some weird thing moving gears and motors and stuff like that.
Okay.
What was the coolest thing you worked on you're allowed to tell us about?
The coolest thing I worked on, allowed to tell you about, the web browser. I worked on a web browser way back when those people in Microsoft didn't actually figure out there was an internet yet. So
Oh, yeah.
we were doing browsers before them.
Yeah, what was the first browser? I'm trying to test my brain.
Netscape's the one comes to
remember
mind.
They were
Netscape.
the big ones, and then there were a
Right.
bunch of little companies around that time. And I
What
worked
was
on
yours?
those. I was working for FTP Software, and
Okay.
what was the name of it? The browser was part of the product. It was called OnNet.
OnNet.
Okay.
Yes,
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Remember
one.
these names all come up. So this is very cool. You're doing this kind of thing, and then you start moving into and cybersecurity wasn't
Wasn't a thing then.
there was
Nobody was
no,
even thinking
no word,
about
it.
no term for it
Right.
back in those kinds of things.
Right.
So so how have you evolved? Where are you kind of?
So I was doing these computers that were doing industrial scientific things, and then we had equipment we were interacting with, and then they started adding more and more computers, so they had to do networking.
Okay.
So from doing scientific mini computers to networking, and then I got into doing encryption. And then because we were doing things to make things safe, we started worrying about cybersecurity kind of in the late 90s.
Okay.
And it turns out I'm really good at breaking things, so I got into cybersecurity from
Breaking or breaking into?
Breaking. If you're not breaking into is a bad thing. Breaking things when you're doing testing is a good thing.
Oh, okay.
We want the car companies to drive somebody should drive a car into a brick wall
Yeah.
to make sure we know what happens so we can make people safe.
Right. See?
So I'm only good at it with a hammer. I can break things like the other way.
Yeah. So fascinating that you now have been doing this for how many years?
40?
40 years. So you look younger than me. How can you look younger? What's the hair? That's what it is. Anyways, 40 years.
Ask
you've been-
Angus. It's a ponytail thing. It totally works.
Yeah. So
You gotta have a gimmick.
You gotta have something. So you've been doing this for 40 years. You've taken it. You've seen this industry do amazing things.
And amazingly stupid things.
Amazing. Yeah, that's true. It's all about making
We were
money.
talking
though.
about some
I
of
mean,
that.
it's all about the bucks. I mean, this is how it all happened. So tell.
I think we took a big leap there, though. We
Yeah, I
went
know.
From
Go back,
mini
go back.
micro to browser,
to-
to
So we went to
networking.
So we went from Fortran on mainframes to Fortran on mini computers to other kinds of programming languages to PCs, and then the PCs were, they used to think we were weird. We'd take a PC, put it in an equipment rack, because, nobody would do that,
Yeah.
to smaller and smaller and smaller machines. So.
Uh-huh. Right on.
And so now.
So when networking was born, what were your thoughts?
This is hard to do because now I've got two computers. I have to get the software right in, and I have to make them actually talk to each other and use the same language.
Yeah. And what were you guys talking with? What was the initial HTTP, or was it?
This was back before we were doing standardized protocols, so we would build our own stuff. So we'd build the protocol, and we'd put messages in the two different computers, and then debug getting connected together.
So
wow.
It took a while to figure out we would want to be using the same stuff as everybody else and learn how to do interoperable things.
I see.
So when you talk protocol, you talk like BTAM, the basic telecommunications
Yeah.
access methods,
Yep.
TCAM, NCP, telecommunications.
Now
I'm
I don't
dating
know if
myself
I don't know
now.
if I'm old enough to know these IBM mainframe terms you're talking about. So.
See, I just like trying to be one upper. Just, don't try to be, so I tell them, I said, don't try to be a one-upper. So that's what you meant by the
Yeah,
protocols.
so these were they were very low-level protocols, and the capabilities was very primitive and very slow speeds.
Yep.
So, we thought 9,000 bits a second was really
Really,
fast.
that was awesome, man. That's
Right.
what
Oh, this
90
is
characters a
pre-modem.
second.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
I see.
I had customers building modems for a while, a whole string of those.
Oh, I see. Trying to figure out how to.
Yeah, and they would come up with the Nest Speed modem, so it was build a better widget that ran faster. So they had 2400 and then 48 and then 96 and
Oh, yeah.
when you learned all these crazy numbers now. So 38.4 modems were the thing in one point.
I
was-
remember.
they
I
were-
remember those days.
I used to walk around my acoustic couplers
38,
and go to the
280,
airport and
absolutely.
put them
Remember
on the phone.
286, x86s and 286s and 380 solid?
Yes, awesome stuff. So
We've come a little
so,
ways.
so you've been a deep diver. You've been into the,
Yes.
into the depths of the,
I think
whole
he built
thing.
it
You
all.
mentioned
Getting bits under your fingernails. and all
Yeah,
that, yes.
you mentioned mainframes and those kinds of things. Now we got to get you into this whole cyber thing. Can I jump up into cyber now? Because I'm excited.
I'm
about
not
it.
sure yet if did we leave anything behind
That we yeah,
that we should talk
that
about
we-
before we get to the current
So I
day?
went from so we're doing network stuff, and then I realized that doing these things in the proprietary kind of ways wasn't necessarily a good thing, and a lot of other people figured this out. So I got very much interested in standards-based protocols.
Okay.
And doing things that are international standards. So then getting the standards going so we can have protocols back and forth, which is what makes the internet happen, because all the gear can interoperate with each other. So you can buy a thing from Microsoft and a thing from Apple and a thing from somebody else, and the stuff will
from
connect together.
Apex or XYZ.
So we
or
can
the internet
thank
or-
you in some small way for the fact that all this stuff does work.
Yes, you can look
You've
up the
been involved in
RFCs
a
that I
few-
have my name on.
You've
Yes.
been involved in some of those RFCs. All
So,
right,
yes.
got it. Thank you.
RFCs is it's one of those it's kind of an inside joke. It's called a request for comments, but of course it's already published, so they're not actually asking for any more comments.
Oh,
And it's just where they stop. You can still send your comments, but it's already published.
I
Do
love
they?
it.
Are there RFC revs, or is it just RFC 1410?
Well, when they rev them, they give them another number. So like
Oh, so then it's
so like
1411.
I worked on the PGP standard, and that's gone through 4 different revs, and they give it a new number
for
every
different
time.
revisions.
revisions.
So it's
Okay.
so it's
No,
finally
no, that's fine, that's fine, that's
it's
fine.
pretty good. Everybody agrees. Okay, we're done. Let's send it out as 2220
Right.
RFC request for comments. But
Right.
we don't care what you say anymore.
It's like when I get my mobile device and I see there's an upgrade available, there's a new revision.
Yes.
And it's got some bizarre number that goes out for who knows
Right.
how long, and then you download it and hope that it works.
Yeah, right on.
So
you got involved with standards bodies.
Yes.
Yeah. Are those typically large committees, like 100 guys, 50 guys? How's
Depends.
it?
Some different organizations work differently. So the IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force meetings that do these RFCs, there would be 100 people in a meeting.
Wow.
Wow.
And was it driven by NASA? Who drove this? Government back then? What was
Back then, it was government and academia driving
Both?
originally, and then it got into the commercial stuff. That's that whole .com boom thing that
I see that
we're all
happened.
surviving.
We're all surviving.
How exciting can it be with a bunch of engineers and geeks, 100 of them in a room
Well,
together?
but I mean,
Awesome.
they're like the computers are talking. Like, can you
Excuse
imagine?
me?
It's like giving birth.
How can I control my excitement with
It's
all that
awesome.
going on? It'd be like watching the Super Bowl, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Sure. Anyway, we got to take a short break, and then we're
Pay some
bills, and then we're going to come back and talk about cybersecurity, your whole new endeavor and career that you're in there. So this is Rodney Thayer, and we got Andrew the security guy, go to the tech czar, and we're going to pay some bills, and we will be back in just a minute.
Aloha, this is Reg Baker, and I am the host of Business in Hawaii. We talk about positive stories of businesses in Hawaii, how they have been successful, and how they have overcome some of the obstacles that a lot of us encounter when we try to have a business here. And believe it or not, there are a number of positive stories here, and we want to talk to all of you. So we broadcast live every Thursday at 2 o'clock. And it rebroadcasts again on Olelo Channel 54. So I sure hope to see you next time. Please tune in on Thursdays at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Going down low.
Aloha! How
Aloha.
you doing? Welcome to Hibachi Talk. Go to the tech czar, Andrew the security guy.
I'm here.
Rodney Thayer, the cybersecurity guy. So all here, the cyber hacker guy, white hat,
White hat.
the white guy, the nice guy. So we're here talking about cybersecurity, and we're about to learn about some stuff you've never heard of before. So Rodney, so we talked about your career and how you've come along. So now you're a cybersecurity guru. I'm going to put that hat on you. So what is a cybersecurity?
How do you spend your time?
What does a cybersecurity white hat person do?
So we do a combination of checking products to see if they're safe or not by testing them. The white hat version is you put them in the lab and do exercises to like try to break into the product or see if the passwords passwords don't work or that sort of stuff. And then once you find problems, you do something to report them responsibly. So, I like to do work with vendors.
Okay.
So I like to be working with the vendor. Like when I find a bug in the things, my way of looking at it is I make sure I can call the vendor and I get an official bug report, so I can get a bug number back. It's like when you call in a trouble ticket to a phone company or something. And then that's one piece of it. Another piece of it is helping people actually go install these things in their environment in a safe way. Because it's one thing to ask the manufacturer to make it safe, but you also have to operate things safe. So that's the separate side of deploying it and hardening the systems, make sure they're set up in a proper manner to do that.
So that goes back to what you talked about earlier when you were breaking things, right? You had the
Yeah.
ability to go in and say, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to find the hole on this.
Yes.
Yeah, so this morning, for example, we were looking at some hardware that has good stuff in it, but it isn't, you could easily put it in and not use those things that make it safe.
Oh, so
For example, so part of it is that he looks at, this morning, some of the stuff we were looking at anyway had hardware settings in it that were maybe set on and they needed to be turned off. So
Okay.
you may not know that if you don't know what you're doing.
And so what I do is go exercise the product. So the gear we were looking at actually had several features that were, in my opinion, appropriately switched off when we took the thing out of the box.
Right.
And there were some other features that were switched on that maybe shouldn't be.
So which makes me beg the question, why would you put out a product that has features that you have the ability to turn off and on when those features that you turn either off or on can compromise your network or what it is you're trying to do?
So there's some things you would do to make sure setting things up is easy. So if you
Okay.
have people working in your store, you would keep the front door open all the time and
Right.
let them walk in and out, or maybe
Right.
you'd keep the back door open.
Okay.
Whatever. So that during setup or construction or something, you might lower your kind of security you do in your environment. And then once everything's all done, then you would go, like in the shop, you'd close the back door to your shop when the workmen are finished.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Oh.
And,
Oh, I
and
like
we
that.
have to live in the real world.
Right.
We have to make sure that the people install this gear don't have to take an extra week to do all the security things.
Yeah, if it's really difficult, then the gear's hard to sell. And it's also, if it's really difficult to secure, then people maybe won't do it.
Right.
So there's all those sorts of issues that gets addressed in his product write-up. So it isn't just maybe the way it handles its cryptography or its certificates, but it's through the usability. Wouldn't you say
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
big piece of what you're sending back as well?
Well, you must, so I'd like to get your comment on this. A lot of people buy wireless routers and all these cameras for their homes and so on, they plug them in and set them up, but they may not have the wherewithal to go in. Now you've got to turn a certain number of things off. And usually in the manuals, it doesn't say now go turn
Right.
these off. So what's your thoughts, commentary on those kinds of things?
So the manual should help, or
Okay.
the vendor's website, or some source of advice. So it should be, you only have to do that once. So
Right.
like you don't have to change the price of the widget to just write down on a piece of paper, maybe you should do these things to be safe.
Right.
So that's one set of things about it. And the other thing is that being secure is also, it's very much related to making the products reliable and built so they won't break. So in the software world, where you should be doing the right kind of testing to make sure this stuff works, that's the same testing you should be doing to make sure it's secure.
Right.
So if you do it right, you can build these into the processes and you don't have to impact the price, and you don't really have to impact the time to deploy it and things.
So
So we thought about it up front, and
Right.
we haven't done that so well in the past.
No.
Yeah, so we
I
found some
agree.
products today we were testing. These are they're new products from a manufacturer. They're being put out there, and the the certificates associated with these things were the same thing on all of them, just for example, which is a very insecure way to introduce a product. They were also using handlers, should we call them, TLS type things that were very outdated and already known. There's known exploits. So this firmware and this stuff just wasn't up to speed, and he would find things like that and be able to report that back to them.
You
The
must be
average guy
busy.
like you or me wouldn't know.
You've got to be busy. I mean, you're doing 20. So with that, we've got a tweet that came in and said, "What's Rodney's favorite pastime activity?" Because it sounds like maybe you're working, 26
Around the
hours
clock.
a day. So,
Yeah, I work strange hours and I work too much, but yeah.
Yeah.
So my pastime activity is watching science fiction.
Oh, right
well,
on. What's
hey,
your favorite
I'm-
movie?
I'm big on that.
Favorite movie?
Oh, favorite
these
science fiction
days.
movie.
I don't know. It's got to get recalculated. I haven't seen a new Star Wars movie lately.
Oh, it's coming out.
Haven't seen
Working on
that.
it.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, I don't know. My favorite all-time science fiction movie?
Favorite all-time
Time
science fiction movie? Colossus, the Forbin Project.
I don't
I've
know.
never seen it.
There you go.
Can I get it on Netflix?
There's one for your
I'm
Netflix.
sure you can.
Okay, I'm gonna watch this show so I can get the name of this and I'm gonna go
There
check
you
it
go.
all out. That'd be awesome. Yeah, my favorite all time is Alien, the first one.
Oh, yeah?
Scared the bejesus out of me, still does. So coming back, why do we always get, that's my fault, we always get taken off the road. So you work, do you seek out the manufacturers or do the manufacturers seek out you? How does this work?
I let the manufacturers seek out me.
Okay,
Or I do things where I'm trying to interact with like industry organizations or
Okay.
people like PSA
Right.
to go find manufacturers who would that people in their environment want to be doing this. So walking up to somebody's front door and say, I can break into you, just that often offends people.
yeah.
You know, you're telling people their baby is ugly. Gee, would you give me money? Your baby's ugly.
Yeah, okay,
and
yeah.
that doesn't work so good. But the classic thing these days is that vendors will call me and say, I just did a sales call and the customers are yelling at me to do more secure things, so would you help me?
Okay.
So-
And that's a big change from our
Yes,
industry, right?
very
The
big.
physical security industry is just starting to wake up and realize these products that they have and maybe their methods for deploying them, a lot of things about it need help.
Right, and your reputation is building on itself too.
Yes.
So you've got 40 years, you said it, you've got 40 years doing this, and so, people learn who the experts are.
Yes.
And you educate yourself. I noticed you were walking around the conference this week. You were all over the
FCA,
place,
yes.
FCA conference this week. And a number of people knew who you were already
Mm-hmm.
just coming out of the visit. So that's very, very cool. Now, so what do you think, so what gives you the heartburn though? What's the one that just drive you, after all these years of doing it, especially in this cybersecurity, what's the one that just constantly giving you the heartburn?
The fact that it's trivial to find equipment on the public internet that's not set up safely. So there's a site called Shodan you can go to. And,
Let's go look,
and,
Shodan HQ. Yeah, we can't really
Shodan.io.
show it online, but
So you can go look things up in there, and you can type in a keyword, and this thing is scanning the whole internet looking for gear that's connected to the public internet that shouldn't be.
Okay.
So the scary thing for me is you can find gas stations that have, they put computers in the pumps.
Okay.
And the computers
Yes.
know how much gas is in the tank in the ground.
Right.
So I can find gas stations near my house where I can find out how much diesel fuel is in tank number 3.
Wow.
No, by the way, it's at 64 degrees, because that's the way to do it.
So, and
And so that stuff like that, I mean, I'm being very, I'm trying to be gentle.
Yeah.
Just look up gas stations. You can take the same tool and look up the word nuclear or sheriff or things like that,
Yeah.
and you can find equipment that's visible on the public internet
That's-
that shouldn't be.
and that website is Shodan?
Shodan HQ.
SHODAN.io.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I'm even more nervous.
yeah. Well, you remember we talked about this earlier in the
Yeah.
year when there was a lot of people spun up about all the cameras that they had exposed on Shodan
Yep.
and things like
Right.
that. And so it's out there. It's a tool that all the hackers use. They start with Google. and
Right.
They start with Shodan,
And-
and if they want to go find things, there's plenty out there.
So it gets me thinking, it's like, we're looking at, we've always thought about the banks, right?
Yep.
Because they've been SEC and all that, healthcare, we've talked about healthcare records and so on. But now we're talking about infrastructure.
Yes.
We're talking about critical, and critical infrastructure, really,
Right,
right?
right.
Gas stations, they're critical infrastructure to me.
Right.
What about wastewater?
Well, I can get a whole bunch of, I can get 10,000 gallons of diesel fuel. I know exactly where it is. What bad thing could I do with that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, and what about the power plants?
I was
the
thinking, on power plants,
facilities?
well, one of my favorites, what about the wastewater treatment facilities?
Yes.
What about those? They got all kinds of technology.
So
in those
that's an
facilities.
example where people have recently been waking up, and so it's very interesting. One of the kinds of customers I'm interacting with more and more is that, a company like Andrews, which will say, well, I'm doing work for a water district because
Right.
they've figured out they should secure the water system.
Yeah, well,
and
you got to.
Well, a lot of the SCADA was always RTU. SCADA stayed down below. So SCADA, all the PLCs, the programmable logic controllers that the SCADA systems use that do all this measuring for all these devices have all gone online.
Right.
So they built
Oh,
IP
yeah.
interfaces for them, and now they're out there,
Yeah,
and a lot of those suffer the same.
That's an example, and it's a
vulnerabilities.
totally, in one entire industry with their own buzzwords, and quick, what does SCADA stand for?
Yeah, I don't
that
remember.
kinda- I don't remember either.
Serial
But
connected.
I don't need to
some-
know. It's a computer. It's got a network connection. It's got some old protocols they built the old way, where we'll just make up our own. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then they put them out, in places where people might attack them.
Yeah.
And they weren't thinking about it that way.
Right, and then they're sending those signals via wireless because they're long, huge tank yards. backyard, so you can, you know,
Right.
if it's wireless, it's easy to get
Right.
into. So, yeah, there's a lot of issues out there.
So there's all of that kind of stuff.
What else? What else? We got
I'm
another
getting it. Oh,
tweet.
you got another tweet?
Oh, the super scary.
Oh.
Oh, you asked him what was scary already. What's
Has
super
Rodney
scary?
seen anything super scary? Okay, now we
That I can tell you about.
Yeah, what can you tell us about? Rodney sits in a lot of
Well,
rooms.
let's see. So, super scary. So if it's really scary, then people react very significantly when we do it. So I
yes.
once found a bug inside Google's infrastructure, and I was a good boy. I reported it. And
Man.
they have a mechanism like I described. You send an email to the right email address, and there's instructions and all that.
Right.
And they automatically send you back here's a message. We got your message, and they give you a ticket number. It's a very, very long number.
Okay.
So I get a message like that. 2 days later, I get a message for a human that says, "Thank you for the bug report." I thought, that's nice, they read it.
Yeah.
Then 2 hours later, I get another message from the same person that said, "That was so good, I'm nominating you for a bounty." So I got a
Wow,
Google
you-
bounty for signing.
Did you get paid?
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
very
Wow.
good.
Right.
Oh.
So, and you know, the money was cute. It was $500. That's
Yeah.
not my point. But they really care about that kind of stuff, and they have a mechanism to interact with the outside world. So when you find something, you can report it, which is
Right,
good.
right.
And there are people looking at these lists, so that's
Right.
nice. And then they go through them, and presumably they get many, many, many of these things. And I happen to find an interesting one for them.
How did you find it? Can we ask? Were
Because
you
I was
just-
Googling something really arcane.
Okay.
It's a lonely part of the internet when you type into Google search and you get back 12 results.
Okay.
It was one of those things.
You're at the
What
end.
is-
You found the end of the internet.
I found the end of the internet.
What does
and there was-
Rodney do in his spare time? I do arcane Google searches.
Yeah. That was actually that was paying work actually. So,
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
I was doing these arcane searches and I found 12 entries or something.
Okay.
And I'm going through researching it and I find the answer to my question and I realize I'm sitting inside a piece of Google's infrastructure.
Wow.
And I went, oh, I shouldn't necessarily be here. So I
Wow.
wrote down all the URLs and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And
Interesting.
Wow. Now, are other companies like Google offering quote
Other
unquote
people are
bounties?
offering bounties,
They're
yes.
starting
Yeah.
to do that. Oh, that's great. Well, I mean,
Well, it's good and I think it's good, but it's kind of questionable. Do we want the world saved by bounty hunters? Isn't that why we have police officers instead of like freelancers? So I have mixed feelings about
the
that.
world saved by
well,
bounty
what I
hunters.
think it's
Well,
interesting-
go back to 18 whatever it was.
Well, if this is the Wild Wild West,
West,
then
it
yes,
is-
it would be, yeah.
it's sounding like the Wild
Right.
Wild
Well,
West.
and I
Yeah,
think
I used
that-
to, hang out with some police folks who would say the law stops west of the modem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I think this. I think it talks about one thing though, that you've got industry and we've seen government through InfraGard and the NSA now
Right.
reaching out to the community. And I think
Right.
what it is that the war that you're talking about is kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, it's just-
And so commercial business has to rely on other people besides itself for help, and just as the government's starting to ask for more help from the general population. So I think this is a trend we'll continue to see, which actually just is even better for this workforce and these kids we're talking about.
Yep.
You need to come in and help. There's a lot of work here.
Yeah, so we only got a little over a minute left. So any message you want to give out to the viewers, to give them a heads up or something they should really just be aware of?
So whether or not your security products are actually, whether the things you're buying are secure or not is something that's worth thinking about with what you're buying. Because if it's insecure, it's probably also unreliable. And so it's actually worth thinking about spending your money on things that are secure.
All right, so that's perfect. So anyway, like we do with every one of our guests, you get a autographed solo cup.
Cool.
And
How much do these go for on eBay?
I think
pennies.
a penny, maybe
and,
two.
And the thing, it's secure. It has no IP address. Okay, but it has a
Yeah,
number.
this is not an
So
IoT
this
yet.
is it. Not
Thank
an
you so
IoT.
much.
Number 43.
43. Anyway, we want to thank all of you for once again joining us on Hibachi Talk here on ThinkTech. Thanking Nick and Zuri for helping us put this together. Rodney, awesome having
Thank
you
you.
show. This has been
Yeah,
great.
Rodney will
show.
be back in March, so maybe we'll get an
We'll
update on some more
Get an update
hacks.
on some super stuff that you're doing. So
Well,
anyway-
since you're already pushing the envelope with all your things here, maybe we'll have to talk about even more scary things.
Okay. Ooh, more scary.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, as we close Hibachi Talk, follow us on ThinkTech, follow us on the website, and as we always say, Andrew, all together now.
Hi.